What's going on YouTube? Dave back again, and today we're doing something a little bit different. This time I'm being a little more mobile, so if you notice that the camera is all blah, 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 that's because I decided to go handheld making this video instead of doing the overhead cam, and it's just going to make it a lot easier for doing this video. For today we're going to be taking a look at the bottom section of the Bandai Millennium Falcon. I've got pretty much the whole bottom section built, all the lights in and everything. And I decided it was probably easier to do it this way instead of a bunch of different segments of adding pipes and things like that, which is kind of boring. And we'll go over all those when we get into more detail. But without further ado, let's flip around to the table and take a look at what we've got so far. All right, so taking a look, you can see we've got the mandibles already in. We've got a majority of this already put up. I did put in the bottom cockpit. I will flip this over so you guys can see the detail. These you saw in the last video. This is really nice because these basically just slide onto these big pegs. So they are removable when you decide to paint to make it much easier. The only thing that you'll have to remember is right down here on some of the details, you're going to have to move these away before you slide them out so you don't break some of these pipes. Speaking of, let's just take a gander at some of the details. A majority of this is all glued on. So you can see all little bits and bobs. Now, I do have some issues with some things. You'll see that there's some gap down here. Everything is settled into place where it's supposed to be. And so I don't understand why there's a gap. There's several places that there's gaps. There's one there, which I need to squeeze these together. One recommendation is there is a split right down along here where two halves come together. I would press those together and glue them. Some of the bits and bobs have been glued together, so keep that in mind. I only glued things that I knew I would not need to take off to paint in the end. Little things like this, which is the cockpit. Like I said, when I flip it over, you'll see that. This, which is the inner hatch for the ramp. Those are not glued in. These are not glued in so that they can slide out and be painted. Here's some more details. The grill back here. And we'll go over everything in more detail once everything's all built up. Lots and lots of little details which are in here. I'm very pleased with how everything goes in. I would still recommend on these pipes and things like that, just a drop of Tamiya extra thin. It will both fill the gaps and hold everything together. One critique I have is this is the dumbest thing I have ever seen for the lighting pack. So you have some wiring that comes off the side and some wiring that comes off of here. I have it taped down so it doesn't fall out when I flip it over. But if you flip on, and let me kick everything on. So back here you have the engines, and you can see there is a light coming through. I would probably paint this part black to give it more blocking and let more light through. On the bottom, you can see the landing lights. I'm going to end up making a custom base for this so that I can have it at the angle, but I do plan on having the ramp and the legs down, almost like it's coming in for emergency pickup or something like that, because I want to be able to show off all the details. So give me just a second. Let me flip this over and then we'll get into showing the underside details. All right, with that all flipped over, you can see I did leave on the lights. You have the landing light there, there, and there. You can see up in here, you have plenty of details under the battle damage. Lots and lots of details in there for painting. And I think there's still a few bits and bobs missing. Just want to give you guys a nice close-up look at everything. Part of the thing, if you'll notice, there are some gaps on here. I would just glue those down. I did have an issue with this piece right here. This piece right here, it just did not want to settle in there. It's being a pain in the butt. When you get to this piece, I would cut those pegs that go in because there's a slot. It's just really, really, really finicky because of the pieces right there, which it also has to fit in with. Taking a look, you have all the little bobs that go on to here. Lots of little raised details. You do have the gunner seat, which is down here. It is easily removable. This piece here, I do not have glued down. And of course, I trimmed my stupid fingernails earlier. So you can just pop that off. As far as the cockpit, the gun is movable. You can rotate it. You can't see it because, well, everything's freaking black in there, but there is a pilot seat and all of the controls, dials, and knobs. This is the back side of it. I probably am going to modify to put some light in there, but it is fairly simple. It just lines up, push it down, and then this piece, because it overlaps it, just pushes on. And when you're all done, you can glue down that piece as well. But that is pretty much it, guys. There is two options. You can either do the boarding ramp closed, or I will be doing with the boarding ramp in there. And you can see the backside of that walkway that's in there. You can modify that so that you can see through there if you like. That just presses in, and then you can see that. It does need some detailing, but not horrible. And I may even modify this so that the cockpit, or that this hatch actually opens and closes. Doesn't look like it's going to be that hard. The lighting, I like the fact that it has the lighting. It's janky the way the system is, so we may end up modifying that as well. Alright, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed that look at the bottom side of the Pefect Grade Millennium Falcon in 1/72 scale. And next up should be the top half, which I have about halfway done already. I'm just adding everything, and then we'll do it. Then we'll piece it all together, do a final review on everything, and then probably put it on the shelf for a little bit because I have the fine molds that I want to finish up. And the Pefect Grade Exia should be shipping pretty much any time. So looking forward to showing you guys that. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you like this video and you want to see more, click that like button. Click the subscribe button. You want to be notified every time I do up a video, click the little bell notification. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace out, YouTube.